Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today to visit the fabulous Tiriac Collection. We're here in Bucharest, Romania with my AMG GT Black Series on Homeball, our journey back towards base following the end of the Gumball 3000. We've taken a bit of a diversion from Montenegro to come over here to explore this unbelievable gallery, a collection that is now 400 cars strong, everything from Rolls-Royces to Italian Exotica via American classics, cars that were celebrity owned and more. I came here 7 years ago on a spontaneous visit after Gumball 3000 that year had ended here in Bucharest, and I was absolutely wowed by what we were looking at. And today we've also got some special access to go and take a look in the workshops, normally completely off limits, to see the restoration of other cars that are going to be on display here in this room filled with 180 different cars. Behind me, F40, LaFerrari, Monza, the SLR Stirling Moss as you've seen, lots of Mercedes cars, Ferraris, Porsches and so much more. So let's go and take a look around here at Romania's surprise supercar gallery, the Tiriac Collection. I've been lucky to visit some pretty mega car collections around the world, but I don't really know where to begin here. Of course, my speciality, if you will, is more modern supercars, and there are plenty of those here, but it's the mixture of cars. For example, there's an Elton John Rolls-Royce Phantom over there in hot pink. There's also Felipe Massa's 599 GTO. There's a Back to the Future DeLorean from the movie as well. There's so much to go and take in. One of the highlights, which I saw last time in fact, is the SLR Stirling Moss. I've always been a huge fan of these. One of only 75, obviously that collaboration between Mercedes and McLaren, that was the pinnacle, the ultimate, as well as a tribute to the legendary late Sir Stirling Moss as well. Epic thing, and really kick-started this whole Barchetta craze that we've seen. On the other hand here, we also have concourse-winning cars. We have everything that's fully maintained, by the way. The workshop has more than 10 full-time employees to restore cars, to service cars, to take cars out to different things, and this is all in this gallery. It's literally Jon Tiriac's private collection, but it's open for people to come and visit at the weekends, to host all sorts of different events, to inspire kids, to do loads of really cool stuff. He was, of course, a Grand Slam winning tennis player, went on to be a very successful Romanian businessman as well. I think one of the latest arrivals is this right in front of us, the Maybach S680. This is actually the limited edition version. They only made 100 of them. It's literally called the Edition 100, with the navy blue over the silver and with these wheels fitted to it as well. So that's obviously pride of place. Also, the collection has the matching GLS 680 as well, in the exact same configuration as the Edition 100. The collection began back in the 80s with one or two cars, things like an F40. There was actually, I believe, a second F40 as part of the collection at one point as well, but it's pretty much now only growing, and my word is it growing. In this hall there are 180 cars out of the 400 total. I mean, to walk around and touch on some things, we've got the SF90 just here, the Assetto Fiorano package on that with the painted livery and the carbon wheels. We've then got a LaFerrari Coupe, one of 499 or 500, including the extra one, obviously the 6.3 litre NAV12 hybrid, Ferrari's first production hybrid car. Next to that, the Monza SP2, one of 500 as well, with the two-seat configuration for the SP2 as opposed to the single seat for the SP1, 6.5 litre V12. Every time I've been lucky to drive a Monza has been a very, very good day, as it has been in either of these. The satin black paint there on the Ferrari 812 Superfast. Yes, Competizione is soon to join the collection, as you could probably imagine. Its predecessor, the F12 TDF, right alongside, one of 799. I always think Ferraris in yellow paint look stunning. Yellow is the traditional colour of the Modena region, by the way, not red, Rosso Corsa, as many people would think. Next up, also some Porsches to take our eyes over today. We've got the 918 Spider, one of 918, part of that Holy Trinity with the LaFerrari and also the McLaren P1. Next to it, a car I've always really liked, the Targa 4S Heritage Design Edition, part of Porsche doing this throwback nod that they've continued with a few different models. This is the launch specification with the livery. I also like that it has Tiriac Collection embroidered into the seats as well. That's a nice little bonus touch just to spot on that. We've then got two Nürburgring track slayers. We've got the GT2 RS, full Weissach package, again with the embroidery on the headrest, plus we've got the Project 1 edition AMG GT Black Series. Now, for those that know, if you have it with this painted livery to match the Formula One cars with the stars all over, that means you're also lucky enough to be one of the AMG 1 customers. Talking of which, check this out. Car number 84 to arrive here next year. AMG 1, I love the way they do this, and actually they've made this bespoke stand for it as well, which is a really neat detail to present the model. Every customer receives one of those, so that's a future edition. Competizione, Daytona, anybody? I think that would be pretty nice as well. But I don't know where to go. Let's start towards this way. We're going to go for a complete walk around because this place it's almost too much to take in. You could spend a long time on each and every single car, to be honest. The classic Mercs, the newer Mercs, just everything we're going to see. So apologies if I don't talk about a specific car you wanted to see. There's just too much. Next to the SLR Stirling Moss, we have a pair of S-Class convertibles. We have the Maybach S650, full luxury specification, lots of unique details. You know, this is, for example, with the jewels, with the diamonds effectively in the headlights on the car. And then next to that is the Edition 130. S63 convertible, I believe. The next two are cool. These next two cars are really cool. Come and have a look at what's behind me. The two CLK DTMs. This is effectively now a one-off CLK DTM coupe, of which they only made 100, repainted in this stunning chameleon paint to make it a one-off. They were all, I believe, originally the iridium silver, as we see here on the convertible, which is one of only 80. Obviously, not many collections in the world that have one of each sat side by side as we're looking at them here. Next to that, E60 AMG. That was the first post-merger AMG Mercedes product, and that's an E60, not an E55. And we've skipped past, you know, all of the beautiful classics over on this side of the different generations. I mean, this is absolutely breathtaking. How long do we spend on this? We're going to go for a bit of a loop. You know, here, for example, there's a Messerschmitt, which was part of that, you know, Messerschmitt, Peel and Isetta. And talking about those, there is the four-seater Isetta, just a few cars further up, the BMW 600 Isetta, before we move into some Porsches. This is, I'm trying to do my best in terms of knowledge, but this is way beyond me. I mean, a 959 is obviously a very, very significant car. It was a 200 miles per hour car, right? Competed with the F40. We've then got the Speedster, and then two new Speedsters, two 991.2 Speedsters. There were 1,948 of those in total to celebrate Porsche's anniversary when they were launched. The red car is the regular one, and then the silver one here has the Heritage Pack with the gold details and things as well. We've got a 911 Turbo S exclusive series, at the time the most powerful Porsche that they had introduced, full stop. And we move then to completely different machines. We've got the T1, the Samba 21 windows. It happens with the windows along the top of the roofline. I've got a soft spot for those as well. This car is a car I have a lot of memories with, the G650 Landaulet. This is when you mix a G-Wagon with a V12 with the Landaulet Mercedes cars folding soft top at the back, and all of the Maybach finishing details that you can have inside. The original launch event for this was actually on safari outside of Johannesburg in South Africa. I flew down, I was standing in the back. You can literally get your champagne out of the fridge in the back, and I was videoing lions and cool animals in a game park. Like, this is just, mind was blown. It was absolutely mega. And talking actually about safari, that brings us to this, one of only 11 G63 hunting groups, and the paint color on this deep, rich, metallic green paint, is really, really nice. Looks lovely. So then you made 11 of those as that kind of one-off spec, or 11 off spec, if you will. We've got an old Series 3, 1974 Defender, continuing the off-road theme. There are lots of Jags and Land Rovers and Aston Martins as well. Come over here. This is a lovely V8 Vantage. Obviously the Vantage of the 80s with its very edgy, boxy shapes. The more time goes by, the more I like those. You'll spot that's a right-hand drive car. There's a good mix of right-hand drives and left-hand drives. DB6 right alongside it, obviously absolutely stunning as well. I've missed some very important cars here. The White Swans, these two S600s. Now, the S600 Pullman is this significantly extended version of the regular car. There's another Pullman just beyond, as it happens, but these two were sold to their original customer as the only ones in white over white, as a matching pair, under the promise that if they were ever to be resold, they would be resold as a pair as well, and that has stayed true. The two cars are living here as part of the collection, sat side by side, and it looks, well, I mean, How rock and roll gangster would it be to be driven around in that? Like, just how long it is. Come and have a look from the side at the length of that thing. It's huge, absolutely huge. I have been out in one once. It's a fun memory. If we continue around this way, we might kind of make our way through all the Bentleys and the Rolls and the Jags, and just so many different cars in here, so many special cars from different eras, different nationalities, countries, grouped together, as you can probably tell. Like, we've got the MG, we've got the Austin Healey just here, we've then got the XK120, we then go on to the XK150, quite a good bit of Jaguar history right here, and then behind me is this lineup of Rolls-Royces. Let's go start at the other end. Behind me is one of, if not the only collection of all of the Rolls-Royce Phantom generations from 1 to 7. Of course, the new one is the 8. But starting way back in the 1920s with the Phantom 1, we moved through the Phantom 2s. There are a couple of different versions. All of these are kind of one-offs that had famous owners. For example, this Phantom 2, the Sedanka DeVille by Windovers, is ex-Harry Day, who was Harry Houdini's manager. That car, which is kind of a fun little tidbit of information. But as we keep walking around through all of these, we've got cars that won prizes, for example, that were winners at different concourse events, including this. This is a big one. Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance is a pretty spectacular place to win an award, the ex-Aga Khan 3 car. Then we get to this, the Phantom 5 by Park Ward, Sir Elton John's car in bright pink. I love it. We've been driving on Gumball with our support van in bright pink, the MSRT Transit, but that's a Rolls-Royce in pink. That is a different level entirely. The Phantom 6, and of course the Phantom 7 that we come to at the very end of the line as well. But there are more than even just cars. If you follow me through this way, the collection was actually expanded. It opened a decade ago. After about 2 or 3 years, it was expanded. So everything outside of these columns was added effectively. But there's even an old fire engine right here. The Arons Fox from 1924 is just lurking. Quite radically different from what you see now. We've got a collection of bikes. There are about 15 or so bikes in the whole collection. Even a roasted peanuts and popcorn cart at the back. But we have the American aisle coming up. We've got the Model Ts, the Speedster, of course, effectively the same car, but without the additional bodywork and being much more lightweight focused. Track cars from the very beginning, hey? And then we come through. It keeps going in a way that I don't really know how to describe it. Let's just walk around so you can see everything. You've got some custom military vehicles here, the GMC Army Custom. We've then got different Chryslers, Cadillacs. You'll see as we step on further through how the generations change. And obviously there are some secrets to come and show you as well shortly, including going to visit the workshop and seeing more of that ourselves as well, because that's not normally open to the public. We have special permission today to bring the camera inside. But the different Cadillacs, as we go through the 40s, we're going to start getting a little bit closer to the modern day. We've also got things like the American Dream neon graphic up top. I obviously love all of those kind of things. Keep coming through, we start getting some Corvettes, Chevrolets, and we'll skip on, maybe we'll skip past. Oh no, I want to show you this. I want to come and show you this, if you've never seen this. The Shelby, the only car Carroll Shelby ever designed and engineered from the ground up. The Series 1 Roadster, of which I believe about 400 were made. I've seen a few of these before, including when I visited Shelby over in Nevada in the US. That's quite a fun thing to complete that line. Before more Fords, we've got a Mach 1 here. We've got some of the older Mustangs. We're going to skip through in a second to the RS200 and the Ford GT, but opposite, we've got a few special anniversary edition Corvettes, and the 50th anniversary here, 2003. Then we've got the Indy Pace Car edition, Z28 from 1993. This is the DeLorean DMC-12. This is one of the 3 surviving film cars. There were 6 original movie cars like this. This is one of the 3 that survives, just here as part of the collection. Massive 8-litre V10, obviously, in the Viper alongside. And then opposite, Ford RS200. Interest in those is picking up like you wouldn't believe at the moment. They have become seriously hot property. Next to something that's very close to my heart, the 2005 Ford GT. As an owner of a new GT, that's very much on the wish list for one day. An original 1970s Alpine A110. I think you're getting this vibe that this is a special collection, and to come and visit. I mean, I'm standing next to a Bugatti Type 57 just here. Like, mind is blown because this is a serious, like, bit of history right here. I mean, on this side, this is the oldest car in the collection, this blue car just here, the Hertu from 1899, which actually has a motor in it from Mercedes-Benz, or from Benz, from the Benz motor group in there. It's like driving a original patent motor wagon, which is kind of unusual. Then opposite it, we've got a very nice pair of Ferraris, Speciale Aperta, very close to the launch specification actually, but satin paint, Opaco paint as Ferrari call it, rather than gloss, with a brighter blue interior. The launch colour for Speciale A was Giallo Triplo Strato, which I've always loved, over a navy Alcantara interior. That's very bright and very bold. And then this 599 GTO, one of 599, was Felipe Massa's car. This was his personal vehicle, obviously that he bought back at the time when he was a Ferrari driver. Now as part of this collection, we've got the California, we've got the 512, we've got basically an endless garage of epic cars. It's actually a Testarossa, sorry, not a 512. A few more Ferraris, a couple of Lambos down this way, the red Diablo, then we have the Yalpa, then we have the Baracco, then we have a Maserati, is that the Ghibli? This is where I have to just quickly fact check. It is a Ghibli Gear Coupe, got it right, perfect. Oh, and here as well, obviously, Delta Integrales are very popular. This particular car, by the way, actually raced. That was a rally stage winner, that very car, and that's here as well. And they are becoming cooler and cooler by the day, if I can say so myself. Dino as well, a couple more Ferraris just in this lineup. But you know what? We should probably go ahead to take a look as well at the workshop. I mentioned then about coming to take a look at the other part of the operation, the space for all of the restoration and everything else that's going on. And not only is this an incredible amount of space for the different cars and projects, but there are so many things to go and take a look at. It's actually the end of the day, so everybody's just packing up at the moment. The Rolls-Royce right behind me, for example. We're going to come back over to this side and go and see the different stages of what's going on. But very quickly, over here, we have some of the cars in storage, because of course there are even more cars hidden away than the cars that are currently out, and lots of different things. I want to bring your attention to a couple of highlights. For example, I saw this and I thought maybe that's a GT3 Touring. Then we had a quick little sneak peek. It's a 911R, one of the 991 911Rs of the 991.1, effectively a touring version of almost the GT3 RS, I want to say, and something like that is going to be coming for the 992, I believe, in the not too distant future. I also want to show you this metallic bronzy brown Rolls-Royce that's just tucked in over here. That belonged to the bass player from The Who, another car that's a celebrity owner. Of course, lots of different things you might be able to spot under covers. There's a Diablo over there. This silhouette is quite interesting. Can you guess what this is? You might already know. Let me give you a quick reveal if you haven't been able to figure it out. Jaguar XJ220. I think that should be back in the main room. Very nice color combo. This metallic green over a light beige interior as well. But let me tuck that back under the cover for the moment. Right, come back over this way, because they do a lot of work in-house. So full restorations of cars, some projects obviously of more priority than others, some cars that were purchased, acquired many years back, 10 years back, 15 years back, that are now kind of making their way up the queue, being worked on, being brought up to full scratch. Obviously, sometimes it would make more sense to use cars as donor parts. Sometimes it makes sense to completely restore something if it's obviously an incredibly rare car, something that's effectively irreplaceable. And that's what's going on in this side. Come and have a look at this. Literally, they had the guys with the right tools. The machine's up at the end, very, very manual. For example, here, working on the body of a Porsche, obviously repairing this, restoring this, starting in some cases from not very much. And this is a wonderful example. This is actually being rebuilt. There are only 3 of these in the world, using local wood rather than, of course, how it would be originally made, but fully building this up using photos of one of the others to make sure it's accurate. It's a project that's been ongoing for a few years, but comes back every time there's not too much else going on. If we keep coming up through this way, I want to show you this car, a Ford Mondeo. Now, this is a car with a bit of a story, actually. This was given by Ford of Romania to a Romanian Olympic gold winner a lady who won a medal back in the 80s or so, I believe, hence the gold-painted top half of a Ford Mondeo, now being restored, brought back to full glory. That's a car, again, with a bit of a story. I find it amazing that there can be so much going on here. There's so much more to this. Obviously, all of the equipment and trucks and things for all of the cars as well. But this is the stuff you don't normally get to see here at the Tiriac Collection. And we've been able to go behind the doors to have more of a sneak peek of it all. But there are a couple of other things I need to point out. So let's head back over to the main side of the operations. When you walk back in here and you're greeted by this view, it is really quite something. But I haven't totally picked out everything that's on display as well around the cars. For example, the Ferrari Opus, the famous collectible book. I've always loved the way that this is presented. The effectively look of the Ferrari engine hiding the book inside. Then come on through this way, past the Ferraris for a moment. You have extra things added, signed motorsports memorabilia, a few pictures and things around, memories of course. This is a collection that's been grown over decades. Now in the future, right here, there will be an AMG 1, a Ferrari Daytona, Ferrari Competizione. Pretty exciting stuff if you ask me. But it's easy to look at a collection and just add like the latest limited Ferraris. And I think it's quite exciting that this is so diverse. Everything from an Isetta and a Messerschmitt through to, sitting center stage right now, the Maybach S680 Edition 100. That sense of going through the different Rolls-Royce Phantoms via a DeLorean, the Fords, the Jaguars, the Land Rovers, and knowing that there are 200 odd cars beyond what's in here as well for some diversity and variation in the display and the presentation. And these are all cars that are ready to be driven. Jon Tiriac can come in, grab a car, and go out for a drive with it. They are driven. They host different kids events. They inspire children to have a passion, you know, to feel what all of us feel when we're looking at this stuff. And to be standing here, I could honestly be here for hours. Unfortunately, my time today is super tight because I've got to bounce between different things. But this is an extraordinary place to come and visit. And the fact that it's actually open and you can come down here and have a look as well, just outside of Bucharest, this is a place I thoroughly recommend stopping by. The Tiriac Collection, to pronounce it the correct way. Apologies for my British pronunciations, not necessarily being bang on point. But this is really awesome. And maybe next time around I can persuade them to let me take the keys and we can go out for a little drive with something perhaps. For now though, that is all. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to the team here for making it possible to come in, to share the collection with you and to also take a look in the workshop as well. That's it for now though. Thank you very much for your support as always guys. It is hugely appreciated and stay tuned for more from here in Romania and of course the onward Homeball journey back towards the Museum coming soon. That's it for now though. Thanks for watching and I'll see you very soon. Cheers!